This is also going on my YouTube channel, LinkedIn. It would really behoove you if you guys did the same also, because I would love all of you to get on your have a YouTube account and get as many videos as you can. Facebook is great, LinkedIn is great, Instagram is great, but YouTube is where it's at because that's where everybody goes for their news and information. So this leads me up to our speaker today. This lady I met a couple weeks ago, and her name is Ryan. If you noticed her spelling, it's Rian, Ryan Lombardo. She came in and spoke at one of our office meetings at Brent's office. Her energy, excitement just got to me. And it's really funny because I made a comment to someone sitting next to me and I said, I bet you that woman worked at Disney. And 5 minutes after I said that, she announced she used to work for Disney Studios in Orlando, Florida. The lady looked at me and goes, "You better go get a lotto ticket." So anyway, we've gotten to know each other a little bit. I hope to get to know her better a little bit more. And she's going to talk to you just general speaking, not anything specific, just to wet your whistle on social media. Now we're all doing social media, but some of the things that's going to get us noticed and be different than anybody else. I had my first training session last week. I think we got another one next week, don't we, Ryan?
We do, yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to let Ryan take over. Ryan, if you could just give a 3 minute Reader's Digest version of your background, and I'm going to let you have the floor.
Absolutely. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. I'm very excited to be here. It's my first time in the winner's circle, which I love the title of that. That's really cool. I love that you have the Mastermind collection and it's all these people coming together. That's amazing. Kind of like Frank said, I am a former cast member from the Walt Disney Company at Orlando in Florida. I did a couple of college internships there, and then I moved over full time in the Magic Kingdom, where I worked at Cinderella's Castle in one of the premier experiences for our guests that came to visit the parks. And from there, I really grew with the company. I was on the head side of the safety committee for Fantasyland. I was one of the head people on the diversity and inclusion team. So if you ever take the tour of I think it's called Unlocking the Magic or the Magic Keys of the Kingdom in Magic Kingdom and Disney World, you'll see me in the tunnels, still on all the monitors and the screens. You'll hear my voice over the projections. So if you ever go, let me know because you will definitely hear me on that tour. My boyfriend is a pilot and he was based at the time in Sacramento. So I had to cut my Disney career short and move back to California, which I love because all my family's here and he was here. And that's when I came to work at American Pacific Mortgage and I became their events and marketing specialist. And through American Pacific Mortgage, working with JJ Mack, I met Frank. And over the course of the past decade or so, I have been a social media manager. I have a degree in communications, a focus of public relations, marketing management, marketing strategies. I love the difference in how not only social media has shifted from what it was when it initially started back in the early 2000s or so when we had things like Facebook and Tumblr, and it was a platform to connect with your friends and your family. And if you didn't see them all the time, at least you could share about your life. And now it's turned into an entire new platform of how can you market yourself and how can you sell a good or a service or yourself, but mask it in the sense of it's still social media. And to me, that's really interesting. And I did an entire 15-page thesis on it back in college. And I would love to kind of share the things I've learned, the things I've studied, and share it with all of you because inevitably social media is an ongoing, never stagnant, it's always changing entity. And keeping up with it can be daunting, but having someone like me where I can help you with it makes life a lot easier. So kind of like Frank said, I'll keep it short today so it's not overwhelming because if you're not in the realm of consistently posting or being full force pedal to the metal on social media, it can seem like a scary beast, right? There's all these different platforms. You have Instagram, you have TikTok now, you have Facebook, Threads. X, which is formerly Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn. There are all these platforms, and they are constantly shifting and changing and growing and evolving because they are, in a way, competing with one another. For example, Instagram has just released new features starting earlier in July and then earlier again in August, where it's slowly shifting to more of a TikTok slash Facebook entity, whereas before they were kind of three separate entities and pillars. So today, I thought it would be helpful if we maybe went over each one individually, kind of talked about what each different platform would be good for, and then talking overall what you can do to kind of build your presence, which essentially is building your brand recognition. Because now we live in a world where the majority of people will turn to your social media to see, are you a real person or are you an AI robot that has a fake page and you're just selling me an ad and I'm not talking to a real person? Because now we have AI, and that's a really big game changer where a lot of people have a lot of disconnect and distrust on social media, right? I'm sure you guys have seen it before. We have now these AI social media influencers where they're just robots. And that's kind of a scary thing. We now have AI advertisements and we have AI commercials. And we as humans still want that connection that we can have with a real estate agent. I want to know if I'm a buyer or I'm a seller. I want to know that you are a person and I can still trust you with getting me a new home or selling my current one, right? So going over the different kind of entities all together, we have Instagram. Instagram is a great place for really having that good brand recognition. It's going to be great for posting about your open houses. It's going to be great for posting about your accomplishments. It's going to be great for posting about you as a person so we can see you and build that connection there with you. I always say that, in social media, this new world and this new kind of ballpark we're in with it, there are two different avenues. And Frank and I have talked about this a couple of times of a lot of these people you see that are getting the millions and billions of views and hundreds of thousands of likes and thousands of comments on them. They're people that specifically want to be a social media influencer, and they are making their money off of being a social media influencer. They're getting brand deals. They're getting advertisement placements. They're getting money from their Amazon storefront or their link tree or X, Y, and Z. If you click on this link, I get a commission from it. And that's really not what the majority of what you guys want. At least I'm assuming. I don't want to put words in your mouth. If that's what you want to do, that's fantastic. And I say go for it. However, a lot of what people like you guys need is a social media presence that drives people to your business, not having social media be your entity altogether. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, how do we do this? Like we said, Instagram, great for building that brand recognition and that brand awareness, showing who you are, showing what you offer your services to, being very upfront with your consumers, your audience, your customers. If you have very vague wording on your Instagram bio or on your Instagram page of it's just your name and maybe EXP or a real estate office you work at, and it's not super clear, the average consumer is going to swipe away because they don't know it. We want to make it abundantly clear. Your name, dash, real estate agent or realtor for EXP of Northern California or Santa Clarita, California. We want to be abundantly clear who we are, what services we offer, and where we're located. Those are your three big things that you want to be in at least some capacity on your Instagram bio, in your handles, constantly on your social media page, X, Y, and Z. Like Instagram, we also have YouTube, which Frank talked about. And YouTube is great because it's almost what I kind of consider evergreen, long-lasting content. These are going to be videos where maybe you produce things of first-time home buyer tips and tricks. Maybe it's things that you've learned from being a real estate agent. Maybe you make a video talking about the market. Maybe you make a video talking about how things are changing and switching and X, Y, and Z. Things that people will come back to time and time again, even if a year passes, even if a few months pass, even if it's maybe a video from 5 years ago, people will still come back to it and they'll find it and it'll still be relevant today. Versus something like TikTok, or if we go back to Instagram, Reels, because Instagram also has that Reels feature, which is kind of like TikTok, but a little bit different. TikTok and Instagram Reels are going to be videos and pieces of media and content that you produce that maybe are hooks and catching and engaging, and you want the clicks, you want the views, you want it to be almost a revenue traffic way to your website or maybe to your YouTube page or to you, your email, your call feature, your contact me today. Because these are going to be pieces of media and content that are going to be engaging to your viewers, engaging to your buyers and your sellers. Maybe it's, hey, a big shift in the market just happened today. Rates went down. Let's go talk about it. Let's get on a call, blah, blah, blah. It could be something where it's almost quick paced, quick, fast, fast. Because the majority of people in the world, their attention span has shrunken from now that 3-second engagement hook closer to the 1.7, 1.8 engagement hook. Meaning, if you have a post, a video, a TikTok, a reel, a YouTube video, anything, if you're not hooking your audience in that first kind of 1.7, 1.8 to 3-second marker, the majority of people will swipe away.
Holy Toledo.
Isn't that crazy? And that's just the world we live in now. We live in a world where I have everything on this little device in my hand, where I have Chat GPT and I have AI features that can give me answers immediately. I no longer have to sit and scroll and do the research, and I don't have to, spend 5 minutes looking for an answer. I have everything at my fingertips, and that is hardwired now our generation's brains into saying, I want to go faster, keep swiping, keep scrolling. It's not serving me, I keep going. So we need to figure out and crack how can we capture their attention, get them looking at our content, clicking on your page, clicking on your website link, clicking to call you. And that all starts with building brand recognition for yourself. Now, again, this can be anything of the sort. It doesn't mean you have to be posting every hour on the hour, 7 days a week. It doesn't mean that. But staying top of mind and posting about things when they're relevant, posting at least, I would argue, 1 to 2 times a week, whether that's going to be on your main feed of your Instagram or your Facebook or your TikTok or your YouTube, and then maybe just reposting that one post to your stories. So that way everyone continues to see it and it keeps coming up and coming up and coming up. And I tell everyone all the time, you can reuse content. Absolutely. Just because you film a video once does not mean you can't use that content ever again. You can publish it on a different platform now, which brings me to Facebook. Facebook is a wonderful forum and online platform that is a little bit different on how people use it these days. The majority of what Facebook has turned into is almost community engagement. If you have a client appreciation, a realtor appreciation, an open house, an event that you can create and invite people to and get them talking about it and coming and make a discussion board and then use it as a tool to connect to your Instagram, to your YouTube, to your other social medias, and everything also gets posted there. So it's kind of one big giant loop. Everything is getting circulated because the biggest thing that we want is consistency. We want that brand recognition of, I know this is Frank's social media because I saw this post here, and this post here. I know this is him all the time. And we want that because we want our audience to trust us. We want them to see that we are people too, and not just some random person behind a screen that doesn't have an interest in helping them. We want them to trust us, right? That's the biggest thing, that client realtor relationship and trust. We need that to survive in our industry. Other things that we also have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is great, yes. It particularly more pertains to a business to business relationship more than a business to consumer relationship. Sorry, I just saw that message. I'll read that in just a second. But with LinkedIn, it's a lot more of business to business instead of business to consumer, which is great. And you still should be updating it, but it's not something where if your goal is to have that platform and that brand recognition on every platform so your audiences of your buyers and sellers can see you, definitely keep your LinkedIn page still going and active, but maybe don't put all your eggs in that one basket because it's most likely, realistically, not going to serve you in what you're looking for end goal. The last 2 things I want to talk to you about are having your Google page. Your Google page is really important because Google's SEO tracking and algorithm, they like consistency in everything. Having a Google page, having it up to date, showing your reviews, showing your hours of operation, your contact, your website, this, that. It's all very important because the majority of people will look to Google. They look to Yelp too, but it's important to have that Google page because that's where you can get the Google ads. You can push SEO algorithm advertisements, and you can track that a little bit better than you could with Yelp. So that's another really big platform where it's not technically social media, but it still does fall in that category of having that algorithm and wanting to be top of mind for your audience and for your viewers and potential customers to contact you. That was a lot of information all at
Yes.
once. Does anyone have any questions about what we kind of just
Yeah.
talked?
Ryan, could you read the message or the chat? Someone had a
Absolutely.
message for you.
Let's see here. We have a lot of Chinese, Korean, and Thai communities in San Diego. What do you think about Line, WeChat, WhatsApp, and other Asian American centered groups we use to promote yourself? I personally love those. I have very limited experience with those apps in particular, but I love them. We have a mortgage loan officer here, and his primary target audience is the Filipino community. They have an entire brand kind of based around helping our Filipino community of the Northern California area with their loans, with finding a home, with helping them get set up in their dream of home ownership. And they personally use WhatsApp and they like it a lot. I think it's great because it helps a lot of people, especially if it's a translation matter of maybe one person is speaking a certain language and another person speaking a different one. I know on WhatsApp there's a feature where it can translate it for you and it's a little bit easier to have that communication there as well. I love it. I wish I had more to talk about on it just because I don't have as much information or personal use out of it. But I know from those who do use those particular platforms, they love it a lot and they have nothing but great things to say about it. I'm not sure if that answered your question.
Ryan, I've got a question on when I use Facebook, I know it automatically goes to Instagram.
Mhm.
How about anything automatic to go to YouTube?
YouTube is its own little separate entity where unfortunately there's not a function or feature at the given moment where we can make it connect to everything like that. I don't know how that will change given Meta's ever growing with their connection of owning both Instagram and Facebook. And right now YouTube is still run and operated by Google. And I have heard there are talks that there's going to be kind of a trifecta there, and they might all be in cahoots with one another in the near future. But as of right now, there's not a way to publish it on Instagram and it goes straight to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time.
Thank you.
Yeah, good
I have a
question.
question. Do you recommend the posts that be linked from Instagram to Facebook and Facebook to LinkedIn? I mean, Facebook to Instagram. Do you recommend that links to be done for all the
Yes,
posts? You do?
absolutely. Now, I will say if you are someone, because everyone's social media platforms for work are different. There are some people that put everything of their personal life and work together. There are some people that keep things separate. There's nothing wrong with either or because sometimes, certain people keep Instagram private and that's for family only, and their Facebook is where everything is shown as far as work goes, or vice versa, or one or the other. As long as you are okay with having your personal life and business content posted on the same platform, absolutely, I highly recommend it. But if you're someone that wants to keep one or the other private, just keep that in mind of maybe you don't want everyone to see your kids or your grandkids or what you do in your time off. There's always that one as well. But if you're okay with everything being on both platforms, I highly recommend it because it's a lot easier to just have to publish on one platform and it goes to the other ones automatically.
Yeah. Yeah. In my case, they're both business, both Facebook and Instagram. I'm just curious if it's going to be a technical issue with, I don't know, the format or the size of the post. Is that?
Absolutely. Let me see if I can screen share this with you real quick. Let's see here, because I completely understand that question of would it potentially mess with the pixels or would the format be different? And because they're both run by the same company now, Meta, they've kind of nailed this down to a T as far as making sure the format is the same, the verbiage is the same, X, Y, and Z. So let's see here. If I can share my screen. Can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. So this is our, as in American Pacific Mortgages, Facebook. And this is also directly linked to our Instagram. So if we click on this reel that was posted on Facebook Reels, I'll mute that. This is the same format that was posted on Reels, and it just gets immediately shared to Facebook. So it is a little bit different in the dimensions of the pixelations on this particular one, but everything as far as the actual caption over here on the right-hand side is the same. The hashtags are the same. It does reach a different audience because obviously not everyone that we have on Instagram was also going to be on Facebook, but we do have a couple people still seeing it. And we also do have people seeing these pieces of content that maybe don't even follow us altogether. And they're just seeing it on their Facebook videos and their Facebook Reels, and it pops up there for them. Another good one I can show you. Let's see here. This is a really good one to show. This guy right here is also posted to our Instagram page, and it immediately gets shared to Facebook as well. That one, same kind of concept. Let's move this guy over. So the actual framework is just adjusted to showing it on my laptop computer screen, but it would be the same framework as if we were to just post this normally on our Facebook feed. Do you see how it's still kind of the same pixelation frames? The caption's still the same. Everything is there. It's not like it's a screenshot of Instagram and it gets sent to Facebook. Does that answer your question for you? Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
Ryan, there was in the chat, there's a question from Sonia.
Let's see here. Is there an app or a service that automatically posts all your social media pages and you're not manually posting? There are a couple of great ones. Let's see. I have them pulled up here. Let's see. It was Hootsuite. That was the one I have used in the past. I don't use it anymore just because I used it back when it first came out, and there were some issues of it would post to only one platform, but it wouldn't post to the other. So for example, I could schedule out things and have it scheduled, okay, every Monday at 2 o'clock on Instagram, this will get posted. But with that one, it wouldn't automatically link it to the Facebook as well. I have not looked at it since. I heard from a good friend of mine who is a social media and digital creator in Orlando, Florida, that they have troubleshot it and it is changed. But I do also know for a fact that if you are to schedule a post on Instagram itself now and not through a third-party entity like Hootsuite, 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 if you were to just schedule it on Instagram on its own, say you make a post and you want it scheduled to go out Friday at noon, because that's one of the highest peaks of people being on social media and viewing content. And that's probably the best time that you can post are certain days, certain times. If you schedule it on Instagram, it will not post it as well on Facebook. That is something that has been an issue that Meta has not gotten around to changing yet. Hopefully they'll change it in the near future as they roll out more things coming with it. But I've used Hootsuite before. I liked it up until, the issue of it wouldn't post to multiple platforms at once. But my friend Liz has said that that's been fixed.
Ryan Elgin had a comment about Hootsuite.
I don't use it anymore, but Hootsuite for free would allow you to do up to 4 sources.
Yeah, I used to use Hootsuite all the time. And to be honest with you, I don't know why. I actually now I do remember why. Is for some reason it would allow me. It would give you up to 4 platforms that you could do for free, and then if you added another cost, you could do more. But my problem was that it did not. It would not go to Instagram. So you could do Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, but you couldn't, or X now, I guess. But it wouldn't. So I guess somewhere along those lines is why I stopped. Now I remember it's why I stopped using it, and then just started using, like you already said, the Instagram platform and blah blah blah. Or I do YouTube, and then the YouTube will allow me to do different platforms with the video.
Right. Yeah. And there's nothing to say that in the very near future, or perhaps there's a new one that's come out and they've done all the research on how to fix all these bugs, or make it so you pay a small $19.99 a month and it automatically posts to everything for you and it creates a content schedule for you and things like that. I just personally have not seen those yet, or at least one where it's worth the dollar amount to do that if that's what my entire job is here. there's no point in myself personally paying for that service if I'm in control of all these social media platforms for my team. But I will definitely look into that for you. I'll make a note and then I will send Frank an email and he can blast it out the next time you guys have this talk.
Ryan, I also had a question. I appreciate you mentioned the best time being Friday evening, and that may have been pertaining to Instagram. I'm not sure. Do you have the best days and times per platform, such as YouTube and LinkedIn per se? Because LinkedIn is more business oriented. I've seen comments about LinkedIn, the best times and days are probably different from the more traditional social media.
Absolutely. Yeah. I can go kind of umbrella overview of everything and then break it down a little bit more in depth. And I will also, I just made a note to send the link to this phenomenal website that does great research for marketing materials and it dives into every platform individually, about what the best date, what the best time is. What's also really cool too, as a little pin there, on your social medias, depending on if you have yours as a business page or if it's just personal, you can go in and see your analytics, which is really great because it's showing personally to your page what day of the week and what specific time of day are you getting the most engagement and tracking, which is a really great feature. But to kind of overall,
I'm sorry, does that pertain mostly to Facebook business page? Or I'm not familiar with if Instagram has a business Instagram page.
yep, Facebook and Instagram, and then TikTok does as well. But with TikTok, you have to have a certain amount of followers and you also have to be involved in their creator program. So TikTok's kind of its own separate entity over there. But Facebook and Instagram, if they're both business pages, you have access to seeing those analytics, yes. But overall, kind of overarching, the best times to post are going to be Mondays, early morning, so at around 9 a.m., because that's when people are getting up, they're getting ready, they're starting their day, they're getting back to the office. Lunchtime at Monday, so 12 to 1 is a really great high peak time. And then Friday, the afternoon from 12 to 2, and then Friday evening. So around that 4 to 5:30 or 6 marker, because that's when people are coming out of their office or going home, they're winding down, they're getting ready for the weekend. The weekends typically show the least amount of traction because usually for the weekends, people are with their families, they're out with their friends, they're going and meeting up with people that are working during the week, they're going on excursions, they're not typically on social media. The only times that we've seen high peaks that they are really late at night, like at midnight 30, 1 a.m., because they're coming home from being out all day or all night. But even then, it's 100 to 150 less views than an average Monday or Friday would. Tuesdays, I know, are kind of a slower day for social medias altogether. And then Wednesdays, surprisingly, was an interesting one. Wednesdays around 3 to 5 o'clock was also a really good peak time.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Chris, is Ryan a member of the Winner Circle?
Not yet, Frank.
Can you make that happen?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I have to disclaim something. Ryan obviously works for a lender, and I am not trying to steer business to Ryan, but Ryan came out of the goodness of her heart to give us tricks and tips on social media. And Ryan, would you mind putting your phone number down in the chat so if anybody
Of
has
course.
a question for you?
Of course.
Because this social media, I know you guys can handle it, but that's why I had to hire Chris to do all this stuff for me because it's overwhelming and I don't want to think about it. All I want to think about is opening and closing deals. That's all I care about. And I want to get paid. So, but did you already do that?
I did, yes. It's in
All
there.
right.
Feel free, everyone, to screenshot it, save it, write it down. Feel free to reach out to me.
Yeah, Ryan is just, she's amazing. But anyway, Ryan, thank you for coming on today and sharing some stuff. Now I've got to go back to the drawing board and go, holy crap, I got to capture somebody's interest in 1.7 seconds. Good
I know, isn't it
Lord,
daunting?
that is daunting for sure, but okay.
But we'll
So
do it. We'll do it together, Frank.
I love it. Ryan, thanks again. Thank you, everybody, for joining. This will be recorded on the Winner Circle. And if you are not a member of the Winner Circle, please put your name and email address in the chat, and Chris will add you to it, and we'll get you all taken care of. Thanks again, Ryan. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday at 10 a.m. Bye-bye.
Thank you for
Bye.
having
Thank
me.
you.
Take care.